Hello, and welcome to this episode of Neptune Talks, the podcast where we explore how to bridge the gap between digital investment and real-world operational outcomes. Today, we're diving into a really critical topic: maximizing uptime through modern asset management, especially for businesses running on SAP.
It's a huge deal. When we talk about asset management, we're talking about keeping the machinery, the equipment, the entire infrastructure of a company running smoothly. And when it doesn't, well, the costs are staggering.
Staggering is the right word. I was looking at a McKinsey report from 2023, and it said the average cost of a single unplanned outage in manufacturing can hit $2 million per incident.
Exactly. And what's so interesting is that companies know this. The ambition to fix it is really high. You see stats like 84% of manufacturers have adopted predictive maintenance. They're trying to get ahead of the problem.
Right. They're investing in the tech, but it's not quite working as expected. Is that the disconnect?
That's a big part of it. Despite that investment, 62% are still seeing their maintenance costs rise faster than inflation. And on top of that, there's a huge capacity crunch. You have over 500,000 manufacturing roles going unfilled each month. So you have rising costs and a shrinking workforce to deal with them.
So it creates this massive gap between the best-in-class companies and everyone else. I saw some numbers on this. Like for overall equipment effectiveness, or OEE, top performers are hitting 85%, while low performers are struggling below 60%.
And that trend continues across the board. Mean time between failures, how long equipment runs before it breaks. Top performers are seeing 500 hours. Low performers, less than half that, under 250 hours.
And I assume it's the same for repair times? The mean time to repair?
Yep, the average time to get things back online after a failure. It's a similar story. The gap is huge. So the question becomes, what's getting in the way? Why is it so hard for companies to get this right?
Okay, so let's unpack that. What are those daily blockers that slow everything down and increase the risk?
Well, a huge one is disconnected asset data. The information about maintenance, inspections, and the condition of the equipment is often scattered. It's in SAP, it's in a separate manufacturing system, it's somewhere else. So teams don't see the full picture in time to act proactively.
So they're always reacting.
They're always reacting. And then you have the processes themselves. So many inspections, shift handovers, and service requests still rely on paper, or Excel sheets, or just verbal updates.
Right, and paper gets lost, data entry gets delayed, things get missed. It sounds simple, but it creates these massive downstream problems. Then there's the issue of access, actually getting the information where it's needed.
At the point of work, think about a technician in a basement or at a remote plant with bad Wi-Fi. If they can't access the critical asset data right there, they're either working blind or they have to log everything later, which, again, introduces delays and potential errors.
And that brings us to maybe the biggest blocker of all for many, the SAP experience itself. For a technician on the ground, doing maintenance work can mean navigating dozens of complex SAP screens just to process a single work order.
Yeah, the number I saw was 20 to 30 SAP PM screens on average for one work order. That's a lot. It's no wonder that work gets pushed offline or back onto paper.
It's this huge mobile disconnect. The intent is there. 80% of manufacturers see mobile access as critical. They know they need it.
But only a third of them have actually delivered it in practice. It's a classic case of modern technology being layered on top of fragmented processes, and the user experience just isn't designed for the reality of the shop floor.
Right, and when that happens, reliable asset performance just stays out of reach. So how do we fix it? How do we modernize and simplify these workflows?
Okay, so let's pivot to the solution. What does good look like? What are the key elements to getting this right?
First, you need real-time visibility, consolidating KPIs from SAP and other systems into a single, easy-to-understand view. And second, you need dynamic guided workflows, something that simplifies those complex SAP transactions into simple step-by-step actions for the user.
And making it mobile, I assume, so people can use it on any device even if they're offline.
Absolutely, that's non-negotiable. It has to have a modern, intuitive user experience that requires minimal training. The whole point is to make life easier for the workforce, not add another complicated tool. And it has to be SAP native, so it works seamlessly with the core system, but also integrates with other platforms like IoT or supplier systems.
And when you put all that together, the value comes from reducing work order cycle times, right? Getting assets back in service faster.
That and more. You lower maintenance costs, you increase adoption of the digital tools because people actually want to use them, and you start to detect issues earlier, which reduces those costly unplanned outages we talked about.
Let's get specific. What kind of features are we talking about here? For, say, a technician in the field.
For a technician, it's about things like mobile work order management, so they can view, update, and complete work orders right there on their device. It's guided checklists for inspections, with the ability to capture photos and report on the condition of an asset in real time.
So if they find a problem, they can log the issue right from the field and instantly trigger the follow-up actions and workflows. No delays, no waiting to get back to a desktop.
And what about the IT and SAP teams who have to support this? What's in it for them?
For them, it's about having an offline app framework that's built in, so they don't have to build that complex logic from scratch. It's having native integration with SAP plant maintenance transactions out of the box.
Right. And having a no-code or low-code UI designer means they can create these user-friendly apps without needing deep, specialized SAP UI5 development skills. It lets them replace those confusing transaction screens much more quickly.
So you build it once and it works everywhere? Desktops, tablets, mobile devices, handheld scanners. A consistent experience across all platforms without duplicating all that development effort.
Yes. And okay, this is the point where someone might say, this sounds great, but doesn't SAP's own tools like BTP or standard Fiori apps do this already? It's a fair question.
It is. And the answer really comes down to the operational realities of maintenance teams. Standard Fiori apps often fall short. They might not support offline work or handle complex multi-step inspections very well.
That offline piece is critical. With standard SAP tools, getting offline functionality often requires multiple services and complex configurations. Here, it's designed to be offline capable from the start, with automatic syncing of orders and inspections.
And the UI is a big differentiator. Standard Fiori apps can be a bit generic. The goal here is to provide clean, customizable user interfaces that are truly tailored for a technician's role, not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yes, it's not about replacing SAP. It's about extending it in a way that's purpose-built for the people on the front lines, and doing it faster and with less complexity than a full-scale BTP project might require.
And ultimately, the proof is in the outcomes. We're talking about real, measurable improvements.
Yeah, I saw some of the customer stories. StatCraft, for example, saw a 30% increase in technician productivity. 30%! That's massive.
Fonterra saved over $3 million just in their pilot phase by mobilizing their workforce and improving what they call tool time. The time technicians are actually working on assets.
And you see it again and again. Certainteed streamlined operations across 65 plants. United Utilities deployed a unified system to over 2,000 field engineers.
So when you boil it all down, it seems the key is digitizing those maintenance and inspection processes, reducing the reliance on paper, and giving teams easy mobile access to SAP. That's what really accelerates fault resolution and improves asset availability.
That's it exactly. It's about moving from identifying the challenges to actually shaping the opportunities, translating those pain points into clear, actionable use cases that have a measurable business impact. That's the journey from insights to impact.
A great place to wrap up. Thanks for walking us through that. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Neptune Talks. We'll see you next time.